What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into another NFL Thursday night live stream here on the Betting Pros YouTube channel. My name is Matt Perrault. If you guys don't know, I'm the host of the Daily Juice podcast that you can see right here on this very Betting Pros YouTube channel. Also audio, wherever you guys get your audio podcasts. We are into a NFC West matchup between the Seattle Seahawks hosting the San Francisco 49ers. And say that both these teams need a W tonight would be somewhat of an understatement. The Seattle Seahawks have lost 2 games in a row. They got off to a really hot start. They looked good. They were 2-1 at home, and everybody was thinking, oh my, here comes Geno Smith. Well, not so much. Things have looked really rocky the last couple of weeks, including a loss last week at home to the New York Giants, who are without Malik Neighbors, and that was somewhat of a shocker. In fact, it took down almost a quarter of the Circa Survivor pool because, well, a large swath thought that the Seahawks were going to walk to a victory, and they did not. They lost the game by 9. They didn't cover. It got quite ugly, 29-20. On the flip side, the 49ers were the second most picked team last week in the Circa Survivor at home against the Arizona Cardinals. And they lost that game outright, 24-21, blowing a 13-point lead in the fourth quarter in that game to Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Very weird game here because of the injuries. There are numerous injuries, and we're going to await the final report here as to who is in and who is out. And I will lean a little bit on you guys here in the live chat. If you guys see some things that pop up, if you guys see anyone who is a late scratch in this game, please let me know if it's a notable one. We know that Fred Warner is banged up here. We know that George Kittle is banged up here. We know that a backup kicker is in for the 49ers here tonight. We know Seattle was without 2 starting linebackers. They're without one of their starting safeties tonight. Their defense is really, really banged up. There's going to be, I think, a lot of offense here in this game. And I think there is a really tough situation going on in this football game defensively for both teams. And I do think both offenses are going to eat here tonight in this game. That's why the total opened up at 48. It was bet as high as 49. It's since come back down a little bit. The latest live number is 48.5. That's pretty much across the board except for DraftKings. They are still at 49. We're at minus 3.5. The open was 3.5 and it has not moved as of yet. Yes, the hat is for you guys down in Tampa. Absolutely. That is why. Thank you for saying that in the live chat. Why is Matt wearing a Tampa Bay Bucks hat for a game involving the Niners and the Seahawks? Well, it's absolutely having to do with that. If you are somebody dealing with a lot of nastiness down there, please know that we're thinking about you. And if we can do anything, head over to our Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat. Get in there. Tell us what you need. Let the community help you. Let us. I don't know if we can ship things, obviously, because there's not much going on down there. But if we can help you in any way, any form that we can, please don't hesitate to ask. The pictures are horrific from the Tampa area, the Tampa region. And I'm not just talking about the Trop, which had a roof that was supposed to withstand 115 mile per hour winds. Didn't work. Didn't make it last night. Roof is gone. The Raymond James Stadium area is flooded. The field was flooded, but it's mostly cosmetic. So we don't have to worry too much about that coming up here for this weekend or for next weekend. They don't play this weekend at home. They play in 11 days. They play there. So hopefully things are going to be okay. Oh, Noah says he lives less than a mile from the Trop. Man, yeah, you guys got hit pretty hard. That stinks. That's a bummer. Yeah. I've only lived through a couple of hurricanes. I lived through a couple when I was growing up in Massachusetts. I lived through a couple when I was living in Alabama, but I was in Huntsville. So I was about 6 hours away from the coast. So I dealt with rain. I dealt with wind. I didn't deal with really rough stuff like what you guys are dealing with on the western side of Florida with Hurricane Milton coming in, just doing a real nasty job. Jose Ramirez solo home run for the Guardians. How about that? 2-1 Cleveland. So we'll keep an eye on the baseball, obviously going on here today with a must-win game for the Guardians to send that series back from Detroit to Cleveland for a deciding game 5. We already have one of those coming up tomorrow between the Padres and the Dodgers, that game in LA. The American League trying to join that here, and we'll see what happens the rest of the way and whether or not the Yankees can close out their series here tonight against the Royals. That game has not started, right? Yeah, the game's at 5:08. That game starts here in 35 minutes in Kansas City between the Yankees and the Royals. So mid-5, 2-1 Guardians leading over the Tigers. By the way, one crazy hockey score, just because we're just talking about this. The Canadians were minus 300 dogs to the Bruins tonight. We've played 5 minutes in Boston. It's 1-0 Montreal. Swayman already gave up a goal, which is somewhat like, wait, what? That's crazy. Like, that is crazy, Mark. Yeah, you stay out of the box. You're right. But yikes. Like, what is that? That is plus 1.5 goals in that was minus 110 for Montreal. And now that's huge. Oh, the Bruins just scored. Okay, so the Bruins tied it up. It's 1-1 Boston. If you wonder, if you're watching that game and you might want to know why I'm so far ahead, you guys know on the Daily Juice, you guys know this stuff. Flash score is the greatest invention ever for hockey. Like, we're like maybe almost 2 minutes ahead of the TV. Last night with TNT games, I was a minute 45 above to get to those goals that pops up quickly. So 1-1, Boston ties it up against the Montreal Canadiens, who lost 1-0 last night. Sorry, who won 1-0 last night against Toronto. They're on a back-to-back. So Bruins scored the first goal of the year on the Montreal Canadiens here in the first period. Okay, so let's talk about this game. Geno Smith has a lot riding on this. Geno Smith has not beaten the 49ers as the quarterback of the Seahawks. 4 consecutive losses for Geno Smith, including the playoffs, 0-4. He did miss one of the matchups last year because of injury, but the Seahawks are 0-5 against San Francisco since Geno Smith was named the starting quarterback, and they've beaten them by a combined score of 148-72, according to ESPN.com. Now, the Niners are 2-3. There's no McCaffrey. They are not in first place through 5 weeks. They are 2-3. 3-2, Seattle. They opened up 3-0, however, and now have lost back-to-back games, and they really can't lose this game. I mean, Geno Smith was off to an awesome start. Geno Smith still leads the NFL right now in passing yards. Is that a good thing? I don't know if that's a good thing. He's got a big contract, and when you sign big contracts, there are big expectations that come along with it. He's making $25 million per year. That's a lot here. Smith is supposed to be a guy that's going to be, going after it. And he wants a new deal. He's making $25 million now. He wants a new deal. So he's well behind Dak Prescott, who just $60 million. He's $35 million a year behind Dak Prescott. Trevor Lawrence is $55 million. Jordan Love is $55 million. Joe Burrow is $55 million. That's kind of the standard. So $20 million off kind of the standard for a starting quarterback. Is Geno worth that? I don't know. He needs to prove it here and get after it here in this season. So he's been throwing the ball a ton. Team got off to a rocket start, but now that loss to the Giants, that was ugly. That was really, really ugly. The way the defense played, the way the team played in general was not a good win at all. So, the Canadians just scored 2-1, 3 goals. So much for the under in that Bruins game. Woo, 2-1. So here, I do think we're going to see offense. Okay. But if you guys watched the Daily Juice last night, you know what I'm doing here. If you are someone who's been with me for a while, you know how I am playing this game. You know what I normally do with games like this. I am going to same game tease this. Seattle plus 9.5, pulling the total down. It's 49. So you can get 43 now. So you can tell I got 43.5. You can get 43, and I'm going over. Other people going the other way, and they're going to 55 and going under. You can do that as well. But I'm just taking Seattle up to plus 9.5 and going with the over 43.5 at minus 120. DraftKings has that at minus 120. Other books as well. Don't pay 40. Don't pay 40 cents. Minus 140 is outrageous for a same game teaser. Do not play that. Do not pay that. So the theory for me is that I think we have an opportunity to watch both offenses go to work. I think Brock Purdy is going to have a big night tonight. I think you're going to see a big night from Geno Smith throwing the football. DK Metcalf, I don't mind plays on him, but there really isn't a number that I love with DK Metcalf. Oh, Tiger solo shot. They just tied the game at 2. Woo, 2-2. Solo shot. Home runs in the 5th for both teams. 2-2 in Detroit. Great baseball game. So, I mean, I think that there's an opportunity here to pull it down. I think 47 was kind of my 46, 47 was the number. 49.5, meaning we have to hit 50 to have this go over. 50 just felt heavy for a Thursday night football game for me. So I think getting to 44, like 24-20. If the Niners win 24-20, we're good. If the Seahawks win 24-20, we're good. So that was kind of my feeling on how this game is going to go with a divisional matchup on a short week. And the Niners are traveling. And the Niners haven't looked great, to be quite honest. And losing last game to the Cardinals, look, their defense gave up 24 points to the Cardinals. I think, that was at home. This is on the road with numerous injuries, guys banged up. I think there's a chance for offense here for Geno Smith. A couple of big plays down the field. I think we're going to see offense here for Seattle. And on the flip side, I think there's going to be an opportunity here for this Niner team to exploit a defense that is lacking their, two linebackers and a starting safety with injury. Seahawks are somewhat decimated defensively. So I think you're going to see a big game. Ayuk should have a big game. Kittle is banged up, but he's playing. He should have a big game. Just not so sure they can run the football effectively. We'll see what happens with the running attack here for the 49ers. But I think they'll throw the ball quite a bit here tonight, in particular in the red zone. I think they're going to throw the ball quite a bit. And so, to me, I don't mind a Kittle anytime touchdown. Don't mind that. Don't mind a DK Metcalf anytime touchdown. I don't mind a Kenneth Walker anytime touchdown. If you want to jump into that, I don't think those are bad things to jump on as well. But before I give you the player props as to what I like, let's talk about the prop bet cheat sheet here. Maximize your prop betting success with the BettingPros prop bet cheat sheet. Instantly compare sportsbook lines with expert projections to find the best value. Customize your bets by filtering props by matchup, odds, and bet type, ensuring you only see the most profitable opportunities. Get tailored recommendations and track winning trends with ease using this comprehensive tool. Take your prop betting to the next level at bettingpros.com/props or on the BettingPros sports betting app. Okay. I think Brock Purdy throws the football a lot. Okay. Think Brock Purdy, and someone's asking about this. This is the most heavily bet prop of the night by most sportsbook standards. Okay. You want to talk about the potential for maybe groupthink wins, but most often it does not. I would be careful with this. I could see Geno Smith getting 12 and a half. Tough. Careful with that prop. Careful. I think Brock Purdy is going to throw 2 touchdown tosses tonight. It's minus 115. I think Brock Purdy is going to get in the red zone. I don't think they run the ball a ton in the red zone. I think they throw the ball a lot in the red zone. I expect at least one big touchdown toss for Brock Purdy against this banged up secondary for Seattle. It could be Ayuk. It could be Kittle getting a long touchdown reception here. It could be somebody else who gets a long touchdown reception. Brock Purdy over 1.5 touchdown tosses at minus 115. I will bet that to win a half a unit. Okay. Normally I do a quarter unit. I'm doing a half a unit on this because there's only 2 prop bets that I like. Purdy over 1.5 touchdown tosses tonight. So I like the over. With prop betting, guys, you have to correlate it. Okay. If you like a certain type of game script, and if you're going to jump in on the over like I am, well, I think you see offense. If you're going to see offense, I think we see throwing. We see scoring. Touchdown tosses for Brock Purdy over 1.5. And on the flip side, I think Kenneth Walker is going to have a big night catching the football. Not so much running the football, but I think Kenneth Walker is going to have a big night catching the football here for Seattle. And I like him to go over his number for receiving yards. Kenneth Walker is just 21.5 receiving yards for him. I think he'll be utilized here in the red zone. I think they'll use a screen game. You have a very aggressive pass rush for the San Francisco 49ers. You have to run screens to lessen that. And I think Kenneth Walker is the guy they're going to do that. 1 or 2 catches could get this to us, guys. I mean, you can pop one big one and get there. His receptions, I don't mind. I think it was set at 3.5 for his receptions, so I don't mind that. But I'm going to bet that to win a half a unit. 0.55 units to win a half a unit, coming back on Kenneth Walker over 21.5 receiving yards for Kenneth Walker here tonight. So I like Purdy to go over 1.5 touchdowns. And then I like Walker over on his receiving yards at 21.5 at minus 110. Now, question from Austin. Would it be a good idea to go 49ers laying 2.5 or 3 along with the Seattle teaser to try to middle it, or just ride it out with Seattle? Well, look, I always tell you guys, do whatever you feel comfortable doing, but you're trying to thread the needle. Okay. I understand what you're trying to do. So that means we need the Niners by 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Could they win by that? Yes. Is it a hedge that if you bet that, say it's $100, so you bet 110 to win 100 on that bet, and then 120 to lose 100 on the other bet, you can lose all 3. If Seattle wins and the game goes under, you lose all 3 legs. You're down now 2.3 units. That's my concern with doing that it could really burn you. If it goes awry, if the game goes in if it's a blowout, okay? Seattle wins in 17-3. Seattle wins. Now we're dead. Now you've lost all 3 bets or lost 2 bets, but you've lost 2.3 units on this game. So I don't like doing that. I would be more comfortable, I think, of taking 3.5, especially if you're playing an alternative number too. I mean, if you're going to do, well, guys, yeah, obviously I said Kenneth Walker over Charbonnet. Yes, that's the play. So obviously I like it over Charbonnet in terms of receiving yards. That's my concern if you're going to lay that, because there is no, let me double check here. No one's at 3 in the world, right? Yeah, no one's at 3. Everyone's at 3.5. So the only way you get to 2.5 is to buy the most expensive move in the sports book. You want the most expensive move in the sports book? Move the number from 3.5 to 2.5. That's got to be like minus 180. That's really, really expensive. So no, even 3. Buying it to 3 should be pretty expensive. That's like 140, 150 to go from 3.5 to 3. There's a reason why it's 3.5, guys, because the professionals are waiting to unload on 3. They want Seattle plus 3, or they want the Niners minus 3, really. But they'll take plus 3.5, and then they'll lay 3. They'll lay 3. Why? Because the most consistent time the game ends at 3. That's the most consistent number in the sports book. So, yeah. It's a good point, D. Nizzi. Instead of middling, it's better to bet more on the teaser if you think that will hit. I agree. Like if you're confident, if you like my teaser, and I'm not saying you should or should not like it, but I'm 5-3 doing primetime teasers so far, these same game teasers so far. Game script matters, right? So when you're doing teasers, it's normally 2 legs in 2 different games, right? You're pulling someone down from a point spread perspective. The game script can go awry on one of those games, and then you're done, right? Now here, you should have a pretty good idea if we're in this or not. Like if the Niners get up to a 17-0 lead, we're dead. We're dead. But if it's trading scores going back and forth, and at halftime it's 14-7, and then we're getting ourselves in the second half, it's 20-20, somewhere in that range, we're feeling pretty good about the chances of us cashing at least the plus 9.5, right? It's a divisional game. If Seattle wins outright, we're good. If Seattle loses, they can lose by as much as 9 points. Look, the Niners are really good. I think San Fran wins it. Like when I looked at this number at 3.5, this number, look, there's no such thing as a trap line, okay? But I think this number does want you to come in and take the dog. I think that this number says, oh, it's over a half, it's over 3.5. Take the underdog. You just got to be careful with that. Like the Niners winning and covering this game will not surprise me in the least. I just know that Seattle has their backs against the wall. The loss to the Cardinals last week scares me for the 49ers. I'm a bit concerned about going on the road on a short week with a lot of injuries against a team in Seattle that needs the game more than the Niners do. Like the Niners need the game, obviously, right? I mean, they're 2-3. They need the game, but they've got help coming on the way. Like San Fran's not going anywhere if they don't get their help back. And most likely it's not going to be Christian McCaffrey. He probably is not coming back this year. So you have to find other weapons and other guys to help you. It just feels like, no, I don't want to say a lost season for the Niners, but they're not going to have nearly the punch that they would have if their roster was fully healthy. So because of that reason, and yes, I totally understand, Dean Izzy, you're a Niners fan. I get it. You're from the Bay Area. I know what you're thinking. Okay, I understand. Your team might be bad. Sorry. Like at the end of the day, the Niners might stink. Like it's just kind of where we are with this. Like we're going to find out tonight. Like we'll find out whether they're any good. If they lose this game tonight, you're right. They go 0-3 in the division and that's it. Okay. But they might stink. The Niners just might stink. So like all the names, all the money, but like the injuries, this is a shell of what the Niners are supposed to be. This is not what they're supposed to be. When you have Christian McCaffrey, you have the ultimate differentiator. You have a guy who could take it to the house every time he touches the football. You have a guy who's capable in the fourth quarter of running the clock out. You have a guy who can control the game, both catching and running the football. Talking about a top 10 player in the NFL. Like that's brutal, right? You lose him. You don't just replace Christian McCaffrey. So having him be out, it has a lot to do with this 2-3 start. And frankly, the Niners defense is great with the lead, But the Niners defense, when they're playing from behind, anybody playing from behind, it's not the same situation, not the same type of defensive scheme. So we've always said this. Kyle Shanahan is an awesome front runner. I mean, just an incredible front runner. Not good coming back. Like, Seattle needs to get the first score, and they need to keep the lead. You got to keep in front. You can't fall behind here if you're Seattle, because you just put yourself in a tough spot if that happens. So 2 losses on the road already for the 49ers. Now, 3 would be pretty brutal. Lost to the Cardinals already. And it's, you look at this team and you're like, how? Oh, the Bruins scored 2-2. Okay, tie game in Boston. Wow, that hockey game is crazy. In the first period, Boston might be an over team this year. Wow, 6-4 in game 1, 2-2 in the first period in game 2 for Boston. But watch that game at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, right up against football. But Dallas and Nashville, there's your game of the night. JMU has already scored. That's the other play that we're on. We've laid the 9.5 with James Madison. They just scored the first touchdown of the game on their first possession, I believe, right? Let's see. It was, nope. JMU fumbled. Wow, they fumbled on their first possession. Turned the ball over, but then a quick 3-and-out for Coastal. JMU gets the ball back. They go down the field, score the touchdown. It's now 7-0 JMU with about 7 to play in the first quarter. I am on the over in that game already as well. 9.5 for James Madison, but also on the over. So we're going to need both teams to step it up just a little bit here offensively. Let me see if I can get a live number for that as to what that's going to be for us here tonight. I played over 60.5. That number is now down to 56.5. It's not gigantic, but it's a little bit down from where I bet it over. So if you like the over like I did, you may be able to get in and jump it. So look, the Niners are crap. I have Seattle covering. I'm not against that. Christopher came in and said, I took the dog, wish me luck. I don't hate the play on Seattle. I really don't. I understand. I don't hate it. Okay. It's just scary. I'm just telling you right now, taking 3.5 is scary. It's a home team. It's a divisional game. It's a Thursday night. Everything screams, take the dog. Not debating it. Take the dog, take the dog, take the dog. Scary. Not going to lie, scary. Okay? This is still San Francisco. They've lost 2 games on the road. They're 0-2 in the division. They lose this, they go 0-3 in the division and 0-3 on the road. A lot of folks who spent the offseason talking up Brock Purdy and how good he is and how people need to stop questioning Brock Purdy and yada, yada, yada. You go 0-3 on the road to start the year without McCaffrey, people are going to say, hey, he's good, but he needs his weapons. He can't just go out there and sling it. You can't put the game plan on Brock Purdy and go out there and win championships. So there's a lot. Bruins scored 3-2 in the first period, 5 goals in the first period. What is going on in Boston? Wow. Okay. That total was 6. We're almost there in the first period. Woo. Niners need it 30-20. Maybe. Okay. I get that. The 3.5 is the protection on that. That's why we're not going to 4, because the books don't want to give you 10 points on the teaser. So that 3.5 number is a bit of a teaser protection number. So I'll give you that. I understand that point to say that the Niners need it, but 30-20, maybe. I'm not against it. I'm with you on the over there. Over 43, over 43.5. I don't mind it. I just think Seattle will be within 1 score. I have a hard time looking at Seattle and going, okay, they're not going to be able to move the football well enough to keep this game close unless Geno Smith just plays horrifically, which, look, can happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but Seattle's 4-1 to the over so far this year, and they're 1-3-1 when it comes to the number, which is not good. But the Niners equally are not great on the number either. They're 2-3 straight up. They're 2-3 against the number. They covered against the Patriots. They covered against the Jets. Both those teams stink. So, okay, again, how good are the Niners? They played Arizona. They lost. They played the Rams. They lost. They played the Vikings. They lost. They beat the Patriots and the Jets. How good are the Patriots and the Jets? Right? How good are the Patriots and the Jets? This is the best thing the sports books get to hear, Graham. Really seems like don't overthink it. Kind of a 49ers win and cover comfortably kind of game. You, my friend, are why Las Vegas has a lot of big and pretty buildings, because I'm going to play on my gut. Gut plays are awesome. Gut plays are great. The books, the casinos, they love gut players. You just walk in without any real thought and just go, give me my gut. You're the guy that walks up to a roulette table and see that reds hit 5 times in a row, and you're like, oh, bet red. You got to bet red. It's going to happen, right? Keep the streak going, right? Or you guy comes in and says, bet black. Black's got to hit, right? Oh, 5 in a row red. You got to hit black, right? My gut tells me. That's my gut. Okay. Look, you could win. Game's got to win. Game's got to win. But I don't know. Chandeliers aren't buying themselves. Yes. I mean, Chanticleers. It's like, what? Chandeliers aren't buying themselves. Yes, that's true. The chandeliers are not buying themselves by any stretch of the imagination. I'm really excited to see what happens in the next, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks in the NFL, because I really want to see how this goes. And by the way, Ruben, if you bet against UNLV and did you know the referees were going to screw UNLV? That's a good gut. If you got a gut that tells you the referees are going to screw UNLV, then okay, then I give it to you. But I would put that down on the level of your got lucky. You got lucky. Trusting your gut's a bad thing now? Yes. Yes. When it comes to sports betting, not with girlfriends and wives, but with sports betting, yes. Trust your gut with who you're dating. Don't trust your gut who to bet on. Very different situations. Very, very different deals. Like very, very, very different. Field goal props, be damn careful, Jamie Stewart. Niners have a backup field goal kicker. Moody's out. So be careful with that. I don't know if I'd go with that. Just be careful. Seattle's been waiting to light up at home. No, look, they're at home. It's primetime. It's at night. Divisional game. They hate the Niners. All that says yes. Home dog, all of it. Home dog, home dog, home dog. 100%. 100%. Somebody's asking me in our Discord channel, if Seattle gets up early, what are you looking for to split the middle on San Fran getting points? Guys, timeout. You can't middle a teaser. Guys, you can't middle a teaser. Just understand what middling is, okay? A middle would be if I took 3.5 and then all of a sudden the Niners were catching 3.5. Then I would go ahead and say bet the Niners. But you can't do that because we have another leg we got to worry about. And you can't fade or you can't play off of that. You can't do you cannot middle a teaser. Can't happen. So I appreciate the question, but you can't middle a teaser. So no, there is no number I'm looking at. There's nothing. It's kick your heels up and watch the game. Okay. There's nothing I'm looking to do. I'm not trying to middle anything. Okay. Some games I do. And there's some games I might look at it. So, if there's a number that pops up that I like in the college game, maybe I might try to middle that, but you guys get greedy. I hit one middle last week officially, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, where's the middle? Where's the middle? Where's the middle? Like, whoa. Like, calm down. Calm down. Okay. I like middling, but we don't just middle the middle. Like when there's a chance and an opportunity to bet the middle, we'll do that. Otherwise, no, we're not doing that. Okay. So before we wrap here and go watch this game between the Niners and the Seattle Seahawks, once again, the plays for tonight. Seattle plus 9.5. You can get 43 now because the totals come down a bit to 49. You can come down to 43 over 9.5. Seattle over 43.5 here. I think the Niners win by 7, 27-20. That's my handicap. Brock Purdy over 1.5 touchdown tosses here at minus 115. I think he throws for 2 touchdowns against this banged up Seattle secondary. And Kenneth Walker over 21.5 yards receiving for him. I think he'll be a big weapon trying to slow down the pass rush here for the 49ers with screens and some outlet passes. Geno Smith likes to use him as a binky. When he's getting pressured, he'll look to find him and look to throw him the football when there's a blitz coming or something along those lines that they can jump in on. So we will do that. It is it is George Kittle, not Kettle, but Kittle, George Kittle's birthday. Yes, to see what he does here today with that. But big game for Seattle. I do think they lose. I think the Niners win, but I don't think they cover 9.5. I think we're talking about a number 4, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in that range here for the 49ers. Guys, enjoy the game. Remember that the Daily Juice podcast can be found right here on the BettingPros YouTube channel or wherever you guys get your audio podcasts. We'll have fun, head over to the Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat. The next time you will hear from me will be Saturday morning on our Discord channel for our college football chat at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific. And then back here on the Betting Pros YouTube channel, I host our NFL live pregame stream every Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time, where we go down through every game to be played on Sundays. We'll give you picks, plays, and thoughts and breakdowns, injury news and whatnot coming up for there as well. Thank you for being here. We appreciate everybody. Let's cash some tickets. Talk to you in the Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat.